Every move Yu Menglong made in his final days now feels like a message. Not a coincidence. Not just the random choices of a busy actor, but the quiet, deliberate steps of a man who knew something no one else did. And now that everything has come to light, fans are asking the same haunting question. What exactly was Yu Menglong trying to tell us before he was gone? Because when you look closer, his last few appearances, his cryptic words, and even the way he behaved in public, all seem to point toward something far darker than anyone imagined. It all started 2 weeks before his passing. At the time, he seemed distant, smiling in interviews, but with eyes that no longer held warmth. Colleagues later said that he often stared off during breaks, as if distracted by something heavy on his mind. He would flinch at sudden noises, avoid phone calls, and once, he was seen deleting multiple messages from his phone right before entering a meeting. Nobody thought much of it then, but looking back now, those moments don't seem random at all. His assistant, one of the few people close to him, revealed that Yu had recently requested to change his security details. He wanted to move apartments, switch drivers, and even mentioned taking a temporary break from filming. When asked why, he simply said, "I just don't feel safe anymore." That line now echoes like a warning. Days before everything happened, Yu Menglong attended a charity gala. He looked immaculate as always. A tailored suit, calm smile, gracious as he greeted everyone. But fans who studied the photos later noticed something unusual. On his left wrist, beneath the cuff of his sleeve, there appeared to be faint bruising, like the mark of someone who had recently been grabbed or restrained. Some brushed it off as makeup from a project. Others insisted it was nothing. But after the investigation began, those same photos resurfaced, this time under a far more disturbing light. What's even stranger is what he said that night. When asked about his upcoming projects, Yu smiled and replied, "Sometimes the stories we tell are closer to real life than people think." At the time, everyone assumed he was talking about his new drama. But now, fans believe he was referring to something entirely different. Over the next few days, Yu reportedly canceled 3 scheduled appearances. He sent apology notes, saying he was not feeling well. But insiders later revealed he was actually meeting with someone privately. No one knows who. That meeting was never logged, and the person never came forward. Then came his final public appearance, a promotional interview for an upcoming show. He looked thinner, paler, his voice quieter than usual. At one point, when asked what success meant to him, Yu paused for a long time. Then he said something that now feels chilling. "Success doesn't matter if it costs your peace. If you ever feel trapped, walk away before they take more than your dreams." The interviewer smiled awkwardly, assuming it was a philosophical answer. But Yu didn't smile back. He just looked into the camera. And that moment now feels like a silent cry for help. A few days later, everything changed. Reports broke out that Yu Menglong had passed unexpectedly. The news shocked the industry. Tributes poured in from fans, colleagues, and friends. But many said the same thing. None of this made sense. He had future projects lined up. He had plans. He had spoken of taking a break but not of disappearing. So how could this have happened so suddenly? The first report claimed it was an accident. Then came whispers of inconsistencies in the timeline, of missing camera footage, and of a sudden lockdown around the building where it all occurred. Investigators released no official details, but online communities began piecing together fragments. And the pattern they found was alarming. Yu had reportedly been in contact with someone from inside his own company, someone who was threatening to expose internal wrongdoing, financial manipulations, unethical practices, and potentially something even worse. According to one anonymous insider, Yu had evidence, proof of what was really happening behind closed doors. He planned to go public with it. But before he could, he vanished. Days after his passing, his social media accounts were quietly locked. Several of his posts disappeared overnight, including one that simply read, "Truth survives silence." Fans who caught it before it was deleted began sharing screenshots everywhere. It became a rallying cry, a haunting reminder that maybe you had tried to leave something behind, a digital breadcrumb trail leading to the truth. Then came the CCTV discovery, footage from the area around his residence, recorded just hours before the incident, was said to have been accidentally corrupted. Only fragments remained, a figure walking briskly behind you, then disappearing moments later. The rest of the footage? Wiped clean. Authorities claimed the missing video was due to a technical malfunction, but too many people had already seen the brief surviving clip. And in it, Yu looks back, 3 times, as if aware that he's being followed. One investigator later admitted off record, Yu Menglong's final hours don't align with the official version. Someone was there. Someone erased something. Since then, rumors have swirled about who that someone could be. Some point to powerful figures within the company, others to people who wanted to silence him before he spoke. But without hard evidence, everything remains speculation. Still, the coincidences are too many. The sudden deletion of files, the quiet disappearance of staff members who worked closely with you, the rushed handling of his personal belongings, even the way the company released its statement. Cold, generic, detached. No emotion. No real answers. A few weeks later, fans visiting a museum exhibit dedicated to Yu noticed something strange. Among his displayed items was a handwritten note framed behind glass. It read, "Every story ends when truth is ignored." No one knows where that note came from, or why it was never mentioned before, but its message feels unmistakable. Yu Menglong had been warning everyone all along. And yet, even now, so many questions remain unanswered. What did he know? Who was he protecting? And why does every trail of evidence seem to vanish the moment someone looks too closely? Online forums are filled with people trying to piece together the puzzle. Some believe he left hidden clues in his final interviews. Others think there's still unreleased footage, locked away somewhere, showing what really happened that night. And recently, one more disturbing piece of information surfaced. A whistleblower claimed that days before Yu's passing, a confidential file labeled under his name was flagged and removed from the company's database. The file, reportedly, contained detailed documentation of transactions worth millions. When investigators asked to see it, they were told it never existed. It's a familiar story. A talented artist caught in something much bigger than himself. A system that rewards silence and punishes those who try